The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Another killer new Pearl Jam song, Waiting for Stevie, 92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station. Good morning, Philly, Joe and Kirby on January 7th.
Yeah, Jets night. You mentioned that in sports, kind of got excited. It seems like forever since there was a game, but there was one on Saturday.
Yeah, Jets got to get rolling here again.
Yeah.
Winless in 3. I'd like to say, Nashville's in town. This is a good time to get right, but Nashville actually a couple, 2 wins in a row, Kirby. So you got to take them seriously. They were supposed to be really good this year. They signed every possible free agent in the offseason. So
The Preds.
Yeah,
Predators,
my
yeah.
wife was super excited to find out there was a Jets game Friday. Kings are here Saturday. Colorado's here, and it's Wild Card Weekend. And she goes, "Remind me what Wild Card Weekend means." And it means that there's 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, and here's the bonus: Monday. Because I was home last night. Usually Monday night football, I'll be out somewhere watching it with some buds. But she kind of wasn't expecting me at home. So she made some fish dish, and I said, "Oh, that's not happening." That's not happening.
That's why she made it, because she knew that you weren't going to be there.
Nobody was more surprised than her or me when I woke up and smelled that fish.
what are you doing home? I would have the same reaction, though. Joe and I are not, I wouldn't, there is some seafood I will eat. Like crab legs, lobster.
Oh, okay, you're deeper into the waters than I am.
You
I
won't
don't
touch that? A little
Nah,
bit of
usually
shrimp?
some shrimp.
Salmon, a little bit of pickerel.
Well, that's what she made last night, salmon. She goes, "Oh, you have to try it. It's fantastic." I said, "No, no."
That's the funny part about when somebody wants you to try food, they sell it to you.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, it's
You got
great.
it.
You got to try it." No,
you
I
gotta-
know you've tried it before and you didn't like it, but you haven't tried this one.
Yeah, it's not personal,
Yeah.
right? So you try not to offend the chef.
I find there's certain foods where if you act like for example, I could sit at a table and say, "Nah, I'm not a big fan of Greek food." And nobody's going to flinch. Someone might go, "Really? Greek's awesome." But no one's going to act like you're a caveman. But if you sit at a table and say, "I don't do sushi," oh, what is the matter with you, you fossil, you dinosaur, you caveman? You don't try sushi. You haven't had it at the right places. Then we go out for sushi all the time. The whole family goes out. We could give you our top 50 sushi restaurants on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And you don't eat sushi? Oh, get away from me.
Here's the one I get because I don't eat sushi, as you
Same
know. And the best part, no. Don't worry, there's something there for you. It's called a California roll. And I go, "What?" And
That is the most inauthentic sushi roll
well, there's no fish in it, right? It's like
It's
seaweed
imitation
and
crab.
rice.
Yeah.
And I'm going, "No, this isn't. This is what I was hoping for." I will say this though: there was one charity event where you would go, and it was like a roulette deal. So the 3 of us would be at an event, and we would be going to separate restaurants with sponsors.
Oh, okay.
I remember that one.
You remember that
Yeah.
deal? So
Oh,
they
yeah.
asked if you have any kind of, not conditions, but allergies and such. And I said, "Well, it's not an allergy, just a preference, but I don't eat seafood. So I prefer not going to a seafood place, especially sushi." Sure enough, I get called up. My name's up there. And they go, "Hey, and you're going out with this company, and you're going to blank sushi or something."
Oh,
and I'm
my
going,
God.
I thought they were just ribbing me until I realized, no.
It's
Well, I'm
for
going
real.
to a sushi place. I didn't eat. Like I'm going to this
that
dinner
would have
place.
been awkward.
Well, what are you
One
gonna
guy
do?
sitting at the table not eating.
No bread, no chicken fingers, nothing.
No, nothing. It was well, because sushi places, they don't have that side menu. Like you could go to a Greek restaurant or a Chinese restaurant, and there's probably like at least fries.
Yeah.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Hope you guys are having a good morning. This is a massive shout out to some people. I'm out here at 10 o'clock at night, just starting my snow shift. And there is a neighbor and a nurse on Lucas Bay that showed me there's some really good, decent people out there. And I just wanted to give a big thank you. And you are quite welcome for what I did for you and all of your neighbors. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, not a lot of information in there, but
Very vague.
Right,
That
but
would be called vague booking. That would be making a status with very little details and having everybody put them together.
right.
Well, Lucas Bay
Uh-huh.
got the shout out regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. We love the shout-outs on the Bone Phone, by the way. Bone Phone, 620-820 every morning, 780-BONE. Everybody is welcome. Like this complaint about merging, which is quite frequent on the Bone Phone.
Oh, God, Winnipeggers and merges. I don't know what it is, but there will be a green light for the intersection that will block off the lane that will hit you if you merge. And will just sit there waiting for God knows what.
Yeah, you have to be careful. We've talked about this before, but it's a very common fender bender when you assume the person in front of you is going to merge into traffic.
Yep.
Because you look and it's clear, and then you'll start to move, and then boop, they don't move, and you could easily rear end them.
And guess who's getting the hit for that?
100% your fault.
It's happened to me 2 Halloweens ago.
Mm-hmm. Rear-ended somebody who you thought was going to merge.
Yeah, thankfully I was like, no, I just tapped them. Like there was like no damage.
Right.
But still, it scared the bejesus out of me, right? Because you're looking and you think you can go, and then the mistake I made was not looking in front of me just one more time.
Yeah, that's the key. Always, Kirby. As long as you learn from it.
I have learned from a lot of my mistakes.
Well, good. I think Joe would beg to differ. But
All
anyway.
right, in some cases, you keep repeating some. We could throw that in there, too.
Sometimes you need to go through them a few times to learn.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. We've had 2024 wrapped up with the gas incident a few times. And
There was a situation, and I don't want to get off the rails here, where I literally told Kirby, this was a few years ago, don't do that. And I'm going to be very vague, but I was like, don't do that.
And I did it.
And I was like super adamant. Curbs, you know what? Anyway.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
I'm really glad we're vague about that.
Yeah. Shout out to Lucas Bay. Shout out.
Oh, you guys.
Moving on. Yesterday, an entire conversation about the heels in a loaf of bread, the crust. I grew up calling them the crust.
Yeah.
Do you eat those?
Hi, guys. Walt Dragon calling. I'm watching Netflix Raw right now.
Me too.
It looks interesting. And by the way, you were talking about the bread, the heel part of the bread. I love that part. I'm the only one in the family that loves it. And I go out of my way if I go somewhere else for having a sandwich. I always say, "Can I have a heel?"
Oh, look at that. He's asking for heels when he's out and about.
Well, Kirby and I don't mind them toasted,
Yeah.
as we said yesterday, but I'll have to think about that next Monday when I'm watching Raw.
I have a wrestling crush right now on a girl, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she just won herself the women's championship last night again. She just got married to a guy by the name of Buddy Matthews that wrestles in a different organization.
Buddy is a lucky man.
You want to see a fantastic female wrestler? Is it the Fabulous Moolah from the old
The Fabulous
school,
Moolah?
old school wrestling
I'm
days?
looking this up.
She used to control everything in women's wrestling at one point. Yeah,
Tough.
Yeah, she was tough.
Like one of the OGs, man.
Yeah, Kirby.
Oh, my Lord. That looks like my grandmother.
Yeah, well, don't worry. She was a lot tougher than your grandmother, and I don't know your grandmother, but she controlled, she was like the ringleader that controlled the women's wrestling. And on top of it, Phil's talking about the WWE archives on Netflix because you can go back and watch her beat Wendy Richter.
Yeah. I am loving every minute of the archives on Netflix, watching those old school WrestleManias and Royal Rumbles and stuff. It's fabulous.
Last night was interesting, too, because they pulled out all the stops, right? John Cena and The Rock came back out. Hulk Hogan, and they booed Hulk Hogan in the crowd, which was a bit of a surprise. And they had The Undertaker come out. I was surprised I didn't see Stone Cold Steve Austin. But
what's his story?
Your favorite wrestler won the women's title.
Does he have beef with the WWE?
No, I just don't think they pulled out all the stops. They're going to save some stuff for
So eventually,
futures. I think so.
We'll see the rattlesnake? That's the Stone Cold, right? The rattlesnake?
You know why? Because 316, Kirby says Phil Aubrey kicked your ass. Get him the shirt.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Philly Joe and Kirby's Entertainment Rundown.
I can't remember. Do either of you two, did you ever wind up watching The Last of Us?
No.
Yes.
Season 1, you did, Curbs?
Yeah, because you got me on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like because a lot of it was shot in Calgary, that was another kind of angle that I was interested to see.
Okay, yeah. Season 2 is coming soon, April, and we got a new trailer for Season 2 of The Last of Us, starring the incredible Pedro Pascal. And man, the trailer looks good. I cannot wait. This is such a good show. Adapted from a video game, of course. But I'm big on the zombie apocalypse or any form of apocalyptic movie. So our TV show or movie. So this was right up my alley, and I really enjoyed Season 1. Trailer looks great.
You always seem to find the bright spots in those apocalyptic TV shows.
You know, I don't know what it says
I
about
love
me,
it.
but yeah, I do.
love that sunshine.
And the zombie.
You might like Fallout, because that's another adaptation of a video game that's on Amazon Prime.
What's it about?
I
don't know,
It's like
though.
I remember one of my exes playing this video game. It's like you come out into the world that's been like, it's apocalyptic.
It is? Okay.
Yes, and then you're like trying to make your way through this world that's been like deserted, basically. Yeah.
Well, I may have to. Where can I find it, Kirby? What's
On
streaming?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And that's your favorite video store. You can buy the game.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame had its most watched induction ceremony ever this past New Year's Day. It aired on ABC, and it had like 4.6 million viewers.
Huh.
And maybe it's because it aired on New Year's Day. I'm thinking maybe that was like, there wasn't much on, so a lot of people might have tuned into it. But there was some, good inductions this year into the Hall of Fame. But it set a personal best. It is the most watched primetime entertainment program on TV in 6 years.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of performances, right? That collaborations that happened. But I used to enjoy it when it was more of the documentary type, and I didn't get a chance to see this one. But I guess it's on Hulu now. If it was on ABC and that's what they always advertise.
They're great
right?
nights of speeches and music. Like, it's fun.
Thought this was interesting. If you were a Breaking Bad fan, that the house that the show happened in is actually up for sale now. $4 million in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the reason is because the family that owned the house, the daughter apparently thought it was pretty cool growing up, but they get like 300 cars a day, with some fans even still tossing pizzas onto the roof of the house from that classic scene. But could you imagine, like, Christmas time, there's always houses in a city like this that you hear about that light up and everything else, and you'll get traffic for it. This is traffic they're not looking for.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
Anyway.
how I felt when I went to go see the Full House in San Francisco.
Yes.
And you're just standing there. People live in that house. And you're just like, I would hate to be in a famous house like that.
Yeah, and apparently it's on a quiet block, of course, so you know how the neighbors feel, like just having one car park in front of their house. Now you've got like 300 a day coming by to stop just to look at the house, and you know why.
I'd go insane.
So $4 million, though.
That's crazy.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
So you guys both watch a lot of sports, and I'm a little worried about doctors bringing up this new term called Fanxiety face.
Fanxiety face?
Yes.
I'd like to know what doctors are bringing this up. One's in the cosmetology world,
Yes.
probably.
And a survey by Neutrogena, like the skincare company.
Of course.
Neutrogena. I only use oil of a lake. You know that, Kirby.
Old school.
And Noxzema.
It's that shine that
Okay.
it brings.
I like the shine.
They found that 53% of people are more stressed watching football than any other sport these days.
I believe that.
And so
Well,
what's happening is
yeah.
that while you're watching these games, your face is basically like wreaking havoc on your skin with like wrinkles and stuff like that, because you're keeping your mouth open in anticipation of like maybe a play, or
Sure.
you're shouting, or you're shocked at
I
a
think
play.
we could expand this fanxiety face to hockey in this country as well, because I know this
Yes.
was done with a specific emphasis on the football playoffs being this time of year, but there's no doubt that hockey does that to a lot of fans as well, especially in Canada.
I'd be more willing to hear from doctors that look after the heart especially when it comes to sports, more than I would about the facial. Listen, if you're having issues with skin, and that is probably from the snacks we're eating watching these sports, than it is from the expression. That would be my case.
Those Doritos are good for my skin.
I can't stop eating cookies and chips.
Nervous habits.
Watching sports. It's terrible.
Do you guys bite your nails? Because I'm a nail biter in general, and I feel like if I was a sports fan, like a hardcore sports fan, I'd have to sit on my hands.
I'm a pacer. Like, I got to get up and walk around
I'm a swearer, so that doesn't take much energy.
Joe's got his Steelers involved this weekend.
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this, Aiello, you, at least my impression of you is you handle your favorite teams in stressful games better than me. True or false? You've watched me watch my 49ers
can't do it
in a Super Bowl, and that was a nightmare. I still apologize to you two.
I think part of it is because
recovered.
I gamble on games, so you have to take your emotion out of that sometimes. Like Baltimore is one of the heavy favorites to win the Super Bowl. I don't have much hope for my Steelers going in, but of course I'm going to cheer them on the weekend. Like if they lose, I'm not going to be there and shocked. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they got upset, that would be a different story.
It's kind of nice. Yeah, it's almost more fun cheering for your team when they're a big underdog.
Yeah.
You don't have a ton of expectations.
Yeah, and I get the same way with the Jets. Like I know this is an 8-game homestand, for example.
Yeah.
And I hope they win. I was a little frustrated with the loss in Detroit, but I also sit there and go, well, there's no one more frustrated than the guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
There is a tiny part of me, just tiny, that is glad that the 49ers are taking a break off the playoffs this year because I get so worked up.
You don't think that you could handle it?
Well, I could handle it. I would be sitting there handling it, but it's so
Not well.
No, there you go. Thank you. Not well at all. It's so stressful.
And yet, according to these doctors in the report, your skin looks terrific. Terrific.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station. Danny, California, the Red Hot Chili Peppers at 7:20 PJK.
I'm just looking at the temperature here. Minus 17. The wind chill reads minus 25. But things are going to look better starting tomorrow. I thought we were talking about highs of around 8 to minus 11. But we're going to get a dip by Thursday of minus 3. And then back up to about minus 9. And then it'll cool off. Sorry about that delay. I just wanted to make sure I had my facts right there.
I thought you were glitching. I thought that was the moment where Curbs had to grab the defib.
You thought I was going down?
Well,
we were talking about sports. Well, I got to be honest.
I looked over and I was ready to run for that machine.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Same here.
I was going to tell you guys the honest to God truth. Let me give you my perspective on that since I'm the one that was going down. Neither one of you moved that quick. I got to be honest.
Well,
you can't say you were ready to run over because you just sat there.
Guilty as charged. I did nothing.
I
See,
made eye
you did
contact.
nothing.
I looked over.
Oh, well, that's good.
You seem to be okay. I did a visual assessment.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
have the we've been through this. Number
Phil's
one,
going to panic. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, he's not going to be much use.
Listen. I don't have my first aid. You have recently done your first aid, have you not?
Yes.
The most recent in this room.
No, she never did go.
Oh, you were
She
going to
thought
go.
about going.
But I do have my first aid.
Classic Kirby.
From, like,
Talked
years
about
ago.
notice?
Did you notice she was not going to answer that question? She was going to bull her way through.
But listen, I know things, okay? And I was married to a paramedic once. I like to think that I
You just
am.
spent time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the holidays, I saw
bestie.
my
You
ex.
Got a
yeah.
refresher, I guess, on
medicine.
On medicine.
But you've taken it more recently than me. So that
I know how
Joe,
to use one of those defibs.
If
where,
Joe goes, you do?
Yes.
Where
because
is it here? I don't even know.
It's down the hallway to
Oh,
the
where the
right.
old water cooler used to be.
So if that happens again, if Joe goes silent for a minute,
I better run and grab it off the wall.
There would have been brain damage in this case. I tell you, left it too long.
It was slow.
Yeah.
Well, you could, Phil, in this case, I'm going to need you to get his shirt off in the meantime.
Get
so when
my
I
shirt
go,
off?
no, Joe's shirt.
I thought you wanted my shirt
No,
off.
don't
What
take
is
your
that?
shirt. That
What's
just is
going
going to
on?
make things very awkward in the room. Okay, so Joe needs to have his shirt off because I need to do the paddle or the little pads there.
Okay.
You know what? You might just need to let me go.
I'm taking.
Just let me go.
We're
Do you have
not
a
letting
DNR?
you.
I do not resuscitate?
We're not making that call.
I'm DNRing it right now.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
On the text line, if you guys want to contact, I have a lady that will come to your home or office and do CPR training. It's about $80 a person. Didn't our company here at 92.1 City offered it? That's what you were going to take, Kirby. They offer like a full day. Is it a full day training?
Yeah, and we needed to have like a member of staff attend the course for every time of day in the office that we're here.
Yep.
So we needed somebody that was going to be trained on staff for the mornings.
And you bailed.
What happened,
I
Kirby?
actually didn't bail. I think what happened is they already had enough staff sign up, and
Yes.
there wasn't any room for me to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
So,
That was a year ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's nobody, but that doesn't change the fact that there's nobody here at
I
this
know.
time of day who has up-to-date training, which is very concerning. A few minutes ago, there was concern in the room. And, Joe, you can say all you want, just let me go. We're not going to do that. We can't do that. We're your friend. We're not, we're like, unless you have us sign a legal document, we're not just going to let you go if it ever happens.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if it's going to happen, it apparently can't happen before 9 a.m. when other people get in this building. Like, you can't time these things out.
Listen, just because I don't have my up-to-date first aid doesn't mean I don't know first aid. Because you never forget how to do CPR.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
sure.
forget how to do certain things.
Well,
that
you're
they
my
teach
only
you.
hope. Phil didn't even move.
No,
He panicked.
I froze.
He froze.
When Joe went silent there,
And you said you were
I did a
visually
visual.
assessing
I did a
the
visual
situation.
assessment.
That was going to help.
Yeah.
The lack of oxygen to my brain. But listen, I got to tell you, some things you just wonder. Like, I was in Vegas over the holidays, and you're up and down a few escalators. And I don't know why this thought came up through my head, but I saw a sign that says no pets on the escalator. Like, you're seeing a lot more people traveling with their pets nowadays. Anyway, I said, one thing I've always wondered is I've never seen anybody like have a fall like a heart attack or something on an escalator or something like that. You
Well,
just
that would
wonder
be
if things.
unfortunate.
No,
Yeah.
well, it would be unfortunate, but what I'm saying is it's not just this, you know what I mean? Like if you've seen somebody have a heart attack in a mall or something, it's never been on the escalator or something. I just wonder
Right.
how some things just don't happen on certain spots.
That's an interesting point, Joe. The thing, though, is I'm going to get mine. I don't love that it's an all-day thing. I wish it was,
Well,
half.
I mean, you got to learn a lot.
Well, really though, they can't compress that into a couple of hours. I've always known that it's
I
a
would
full
like the
day.
4-hour course. It's a little low
Yeah,
end,
it's
but
a little long of a day. I don't know about saving somebody's life. I mean, can we get this thing down to a couple of hours?
Well, but really,
just give me the main points.
Hey, they've changed a few things, right? Like nowadays, I don't think you just go mouth to mouth.
No,
Like,
there's no mouth to mouth.
right? They do a whole
there
different.
isn't.
No.
I don't know if they pinch the nose anymore, the mouth to mouth. It's all changed.
I remember learning that in swimming lessons back in the day, CPR.
Yeah.
In case you had to say, like, 'cause
Yeah, you might need to update that kind of CPR.
it's been a long time. That's been 42 years or no, 40 years or so since I took swimming lessons. Maybe, but anyway, yes, I'll have to update that. I'm telling you what, right now, all seriousness, I've always wanted to get this. Like my wife has all of her first aid, but I don't like being out and about visiting my folks and not knowing how to do all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm not nuts about the whole day thing, but I'll burn a day and do it. I swear to God.
Can we at least get your wife's a busy lady, but is there any chance we can get here from 6 till 9, at least in the meantime, since there's nobody else here? I've got to rely on Kirby
With my outdated
with her outdated information. Listen,
Assessments.
even on the Boston Pizza text line, the escalator story, they'd have to call it Stairway to Heaven. That would escalate quickly.
Oh,
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
And I'll tell you what, after 8 o'clock, we'll get back into the whole first aid thing. We will apologize quickly for some of the information that's being thrown out by amateur first aid aficionado Shalinda Kirby. People are the best. The best text we got was what was it, Joe? About Kirby's throwing out a lot of false info.
I'm a certified instructor, and Kirby is, Kirby's sending out a lot of wrong information.
well, I didn't necessarily have time to elaborate on the details,
yeah.
okay?
Even our boss jumped in by sending us a message, Iron Mike.
How much more could you elaborate when I said, do they still do mouth to mouth? And you said, no one does mouth to mouth anymore. How much did you?
Without an apparatus.
Oh, so that would have taken a long time for you to throw into that sense. I've never felt
Safer.
Safer.
You should
really.
feel safe.
After 8 o'clock, the text messages are just pouring in from actual health officials. Anyway.
Yeah. I think we got if there wasn't something happening nationally, we might have the federal government involved here at this level of misinformation.
780 City, some 41 tickets up for grabs. Joe has the question.
Okay, on average, women and men both do this about 4 times a day.
Women and men, 4 times a day.
We've only got the top 3 answers here, but 5 lifelines. On average, women and men both do this 4 times a day.
Hello, City.
Hi there.
Hi.
Can I have a lifeline?
You sure can. Philly or Kirby?
I'm going to go Philly today.
I'll tell you what, lifeline has a whole different meaning coming up after 8:10. Trust me.
There are no lifelines in this studio. I'll tell you what, we learned that. I'm going to go with 4 times a day, on average, they text their partner.
No, that's a good answer, though.
Sorry about that.
That's a very good answer. I don't think you need to apologize today. That was very good.
You're being so nice to him today.
She sounded very nice, and I felt bad that I couldn't get her the right answer. Hi, City.
Hi, I'll ask Kirby.
Kirby?
They go to the bathroom.
Go use the restroom at work 4 times a day. That is correct, Kirby. That is number 2 on the
number
list.
2.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Sometimes just a time waster, right? Little break from everybody else 4 times a day. I thought, interesting that both men and women 4 times a day.
When you're talking peeing, right? Like
and sometimes just to get a breather.
Yeah. 780 City for some 41 tickets. Hi there.
Hey, I'm going to go with Bark.
No, nothing to do with that.
Very healthy.
Yeah, this is nothing physical.
Nothing physical.
Yeah.
Hi, City.
Is it apologize?
Apologizing is number 3, my friend.
At least 4 times a day?
Women and men both.
Well, if you think about it, it's just a very...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, right? Even if you don't open a door for somebody.
Yeah, but
sorry about that.
that's a great heads up too, because the number 1 answer is verbal as well.
Verbal is
I'll
the
make it a little nice clue there, I think.
big hint. The number 1 answer that Joe is looking for is verbal.
Yeah.
Hi, City.
They swear.
No, not
4
swear.
times a minute in this room, off air.
Oh yeah.
Joe and I are a couple of sailors. Good morning, City.
Good morning. They complain about being at work.
No, actually.
Good one, especially in January.
It's verbal.
They might be complaining about this, but it could be positive too, because they said it was verbal.
780 City. Good morning.
Morning. Is it talk about the weather?
Not talk about the weather, no.
Are they talking about something though, Joe?
Yes, they are.
Oh. Hello, City.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Yo.
Can I get a lifeline?
Sure.
Kirby for the win, please.
Kirby for the win. On average, women and men do this 4 times a day. We know go use the restroom at work and apologize. We're 2 and 3.
I'm going to say that they say their names
No.
at least 4 times a day.
No.
Okay.
They're talking about something,
Okay.
not their name.
The thing about my name is
Well, no, you introduce yourself, It's like, hey.
that's true.
At
I'm
work,
Phil.
I know. We've worked together for 30 years. I know who you are.
Hi, City.
Hi. Can I take Phil?
Talk about sports.
No.
Thought I had it.
Sports might be relatable to part of
4
the answer.
times a day for you, that would be like
But we're talking
times
average.
100.
On average.
Talking
The
average.
women at work.
And you're not an
Men at
average
work.
guy, Phil.
That's a great point. Hi, City.
Hey, is it talk about their weekend plans?
Not about their weekend plans. No. Something a little closer to them. There's some passion involved here, I would guess.
Something a little closer than weekend plans. Hi, City.
Talk about your family?
Yeah.
Family.
Talk about your family. On average, women and men are doing that 4 times a day. Somehow, some way, something will eke into a conversation about a family member.
That makes sense.
So my cousin. Oh, my God.
Could be good. It could be bad. Exactly. Oh, you've over the holidays.
Guy wouldn't leave. It's 2:30 in the morning, man.
He's still at my place.
I'm out of booze. Get lost. I'll call you a cab. Who's this?
Roman.
Gomez.
Roman.
Roman.
Oh, Roman. I thought you said Gomez. I was like, I love the Addams family.
Okay.
He did not say Gomez.
No, he did not. But Kirby loves the Addams family.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
The old Winnipeg Jets 1.0 entrance music.
That's good inspiration for tonight. I love it.
Big effort from the Jets tonight. I have a feeling we're going to see the best version of the Winnipeg Jets after a 3-game winless
You
skid.
know what? That's worth a bet right there. Phil Aubrey does not have gut feelings very often.
Or feelings
Actually,
in
doesn't
general,
show his
but,
feelings in
just
general.
Whoa!
You said it too. We
What?
both said it. It's not just me.
Shots fired. Here I am. The holidays are over. It's January the 7th. It's a tough month. And, you know, we're all just trying to get back into the swing of things around here.
It's the first time Kirby's ever heard me say anything.
And she comes at me with a
Follow it up.
sledgehammer. Philly doesn't have feelings. That hits me. That hits me right here, Kirby.
So, in other
I'm
words, he's telling
sorry.
you he's showing some feelings.
Those feelings you thought I didn't have.
I herded them.
You actually did show some feelings earlier. You're doing a little research on this whole CPR
Yeah.
life-saving
I want to take a
madness
course
around here.
I want to take a course. And Kirby took one. When? So just so we get all the facts out there, when did you last take first aid?
I would have been 2016.
Earliest for me was I was in high school. St. John's ambulances. What
So
it fell
Kirby,
under for me.
you're 9 years ago ish.
2016, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was way long
Mine was
ago.
when I was in swimming lessons.
Yeah.
So it's been 35 years for me. But the difference between Kirby and I is I'm not out there trying to act like I actually know.
Well, I do that often.
You do.
Yeah,
Once
well,
in a while.
so what? It's only my life at stake here.
And
Don't worry about it.
And somebody said on the text line, like, what did I miss? Did Joe almost die this morning? Well, there was so the way the show works, right? I come on, I'm like, hey, it's BJK, welcome to the show. And then Joe typically comes in with the weather. That's how
Yeah,
we do things.
and I was actually researching the latest,
so there was like a 5-second pause-ish.
which is an eternity.
It just felt, and that's where we got worried. Like, did Joe, something happen?
Keel over.
Is he in distress? Neither Kirby or myself jumped to help him, so that's concerning.
No, and Phil actually admitted to that. Kirby said she was doing a visual assessment of what was going on. But
I was assessing, okay?
and then she started commenting about things that don't happen anymore in the course or what you're supposed to do.
Well,
and then
let me rephrase, because yes, mouth to mouth is still a thing with CPR. It's just that in the last course that I took, they gave us these little things that go over top of the mouth to do CPR, so you're not directly doing mouth to mouth.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
obviously, nobody carries those around with you. So if somebody is needing CPR, an actual mouth to mouth, like you have to be able to go in and do it.
If I take this course, if I'm back at it, I'm going to start carrying one of these things. I want to be ready, locked and loaded.
like a backpack every day?
Like a first aid kit
Like you're
on
on
all times.
Ghostbusters or something? I love it. Well, Kirby was married to a paramedic.
Right.
And then
I clearly did learn a lot.
Well, no, but apparently you thought that was a badge of honor that meant you could speak on behalf of paramedics.
Well, I'm not that I would speak on behalf of paramedics. Dear God, they do phenomenal work. I don't know half of the job they do.
Uh-huh. So,
you had confidence in reporting.
That is what I have, is confidence.
You always do, yes.
Yep.
This person on the text line says not to correct Kirby again.
Oh, boy.
Again.
I should just shut up.
But my wife being a paramedic, we both actually have those on our keychain, the mouthpiece.
Oh, the mouthpieces can be on a keychain. That's kind of cool.
You know, I might do that, actually.
Yeah.
I was telling you guys about this thing that I learned about over the holidays for choking. It's like this thing you can get off Amazon that will basically suction out whatever you're choking on so that you don't have to give somebody
Like a
the Heimlich
shop vac
maneuver.
that you stick down your throat?
It's kind of like a plunger for your face. Like
Whoa.
it's like it kind of works similar to like what a toilet would, you know? And it pulls the air so that whatever's like lodged in your throat will come out. And these things are well known.
Wouldn't two fingers do the trick too?
Well, it depends how far down.
Okay.
Costco. On the text line, someone says Costco sells the Life Vac. Is that what you're
That's
talking
probably
The
about?
what
life
Kirby's
vac, I
talking
think it's
about.
what. Yeah, let me look.
Will it work on your carpet too?
Is this gonna? This still isn't gonna get me a life-saving day, is it?
No, Joe.
I'm taking the course.
Yes, the life vac.
I'm
Yes.
going to. Because it's lots like what
You
if
got 2 young kids.
right? What if there's a burn in the house or
Yeah.
choking, as Kirby mentioned? I don't like not knowing all of that.
I know how to do a tourniquet. Okay, so if one of you gets some sort of thing lodged in you, I know how to make a tourniquet.
Like a piece of shard of glass in our arm.
Yes, and you make like a little round bandage around it, and then
Well, I think anybody could pretty much do that one, no? Like, they teach you that in, like, Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, I
Well,
think.
I'm
do they
just
not?
saying, I know how to do it.
I'll tell you what, guilty. Guilty on the Boston Pizza text line has his first responder. I've got a better shot of getting guilty to drive in from Gimli to Scurfield to save my life before I got a shot with Kirby walking down the hall and figuring out how to use the defibrillator.
I like that. Listen, she'll put together a tourniquet for you if you're having a
You
heart
know
attack.
what? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'll be wrapped up on my arm.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.